This keyboard is bursting with features. Screen? Check. Joystick? Check. Light bar? Check. Budget price? Check. Mechanical keyboards are becoming more than just keys that you tap on. You might get additional features like knobs, little TVs, and in some cases, aromatherapy. But does more features actually give you a better typing experience? We'll find out with the Epomaker RT65. This video is sponsored by Epomaker. They paid for us to talk about this keyboard, but they don't get to review it before it goes live. So the Epomaker RT65 is a successor after the popular RT100, and it costs $69.99. The RT100 is one of Epomaker's most purchased keyboards. It's known for its retro design with a small detachable screen. It's also had some quality problems. It's had software issues. It's had QC problems. And for some people, it even broke after the first month. There's even a subreddit that talks about issues that people have with this exact product. Now, I've talked to Epomaker about not covering this keyboard because of the potential issues that it could have. And they replied that they're working extra hard to fix their customer support problems. So hopefully, they found their footing with the new RT65 release. So has Epomaker made their software usable this time? Is the RT65 just a keyboard full of gimmicks, or will it actually improve your life? When you first look at this keyboard, wow, it's got a lot going on. The RT65 is an exploded 65% layout. It's got arrow keys, it's got some nav keys on the right side. It also has additional elements like this joystick and this light bar that we'll talk about later. The keycaps have a clean retro look in off-white, burnt brown, and dark gray. They're smooth to the touch with clean legends. There's also a 2.4 gigahertz receiver housed in this top left corner. It's convenient that there's onboard storage, but I prefer a more subtle spot. Plus, the first time I opened it, this thing fell right out. I could have lost it. It reminds me a lot of how a TV remote control holds their batteries in a piece of plastic. This keyboard is quite lightweight, and it comes in at 1 pound and 5.5 ounces. It's a lot lighter than a full aluminum keyboard. For reference, it's 62% lighter than the Epomaker P75, one of their aluminum keyboards, which weighs 3 pounds and 7 ounces. There are simple rubber feet on the back without any way to change your typing angle at all. Why couldn't they add kick-up feet? Is that so hard? Overall though, it has a unique look and sounds fairly decent. Let's go to the star of the show, this joystick. It was a bold decision to do this instead of a tried and true knob that you see in a bunch of other keyboards. I've always wanted a keyboard that could use mouse functions in like a quick and simple way, and in theory, a joystick is a great way to do that. By default, the joystick does volume controls with a pause, play, press. Rotate back and forth to change the volume. You can switch to mouse mode by holding FN and then clicking the joystick. The joystick aims to give you quicker control without reaching for a mouse. It makes it easier to keep your hands on your keyboard and work more efficiently. In theory. Upon using it, the mouse speed moves a bit too fast to be functional. It's not like an analog joystick on like a PS4 or PS5 that can move slowly or quickly based on how far and how fast you move your joystick. It's only got one speed. The thing needs to be analog for it to be actually useful as mouse control, so I don't think I'll be using it very much. You might think about using the joystick to scroll up or down a page, or right or left a timeline. That would be a nice quality of life improvement. So I jumped into the software to try it out, but you can't program the joystick beyond its default capabilities. Sort of a bummer. And what about this light bar on top? It looks really cool when you turn it on. The RGB is nice and it adds an extra touch, but light bars aren't exactly new technology. They're already implemented in some other keyboards I've seen. The Wu-Ting 80HE has a light bar that can tell you how far you're pressing, what profile you're on, and even system volume. The Asus Falchion keyboards have a touch bar on the top that can change volume, actuation distance, and more. It seems like on the RT65, the light bar does nothing more than give you a light show. It looks cool, but I wish it fought for its spot. Despite being a 65% keyboard, the size is more like 75%. I would have preferred an F-row instead of just lights. The other standout feature is this detachable screen you get along with the keyboard. It attaches via the USB-C port on the left-hand side. You have to remove the plastic piece and the dongle to put it in. So don't lose your dongle. You can't store it anywhere with the screen plugged in. The screen can show you the date, time, battery level, connectivity, and showcase your favorite GIFs. In the software, the Epomaker software, you can download GIFs other people have uploaded to install into your own keyboard. It's like a little social platform for GIFs and lighting profiles. Pretty nifty. The angle of the screen is fixed. I would have preferred it to be a bit flexible so you can get a comfortable look at it instead of lifting up your keyboard or tilting your head. Inside the box, you get a user manual that tells you how to connect, how to change your lights, how to download the software, and more. You also get a keycap switch puller combo. It's pretty common to see, but this is a nice one. Make sure you keep it. There's a thick and stylized rubber USB-C cable. It looks like something from a steampunk novel. There's 3 extra switches in case any of yours break. And there's also some Mac keycaps. Although they're in a completely different font than the rest of the keyboard, why? They're not even the right color. So if you're not going to use Mac, it's not a huge deal, but I would prefer if they at least matched. And at last, you get the screen that you can connect. The screen color depends on the keyboard color that you have. Got the pink one, got the beige one, and there are 2 color options that you can get. This white and gray one that we've been looking at, and this other one in pink with peach colored accents. Additionally, you can pick from 2 types of linear switches, the flamenco switches and the linear Wisterias. The flamingos have a dual spring inside the switch, which makes it lighter on top and heavier at the bottom mount. The Wisterias have an extra long spring, which puts more weight at the top. This makes it easier to rest your fingers without accidentally pressing keys. Both of these switch types make the switches pop back after a keystroke in a nice and snappy way. They're both pre-lubed for a smooth linear typing experience, and they are both linear. Unfortunately, you don't get any tactile or clicky switch options, but you can swap them out if you want to because the RT65 is hot swap. It also has south-facing LEDs, so you don't have to worry about keycap compatibility. So what does it feel like to type on this keyboard? Well, the RT65 is gasket mounted with some flex throughout the keyboard. It feels soft and bouncy to type on. They did a good job with it. I'll give them that. The stabilizers are lubed nicely. They're not sluggish or loud compared to the other keys. The keycaps are made of thick double-shot PVT plastic, and over time you won't get any of the shininess on tops. It's also cherry profile for a comfortable typing height. They're not shine through, but the high contrast keycap legends are easy to see if you're using these keyboards in dim lighting. Inside the keyboard are several layers of foam. If you're interested in tinkering with your keyboard, RT65 is super fast to open, but you have to be careful. I didn't know this my first time opening it, and I ended up ripping out a ribbon cable in the process. All you do is pry it open. There are 3 cables, one to the battery, one to the joystick, and one to the light bar. So when you're opening this board, make sure to carefully unplug these from your case and from the back. There's a layer of case foam, some foam beneath the PCB. You also get a PET film sheet, an IXPE sheet, and Poron plate foam, and all these things enhance the sound of the keyboard. Beneath everything is a 3000 mAh battery, so you can take your keyboard out and about without worry. The switches are in a polycarbonate plate, which is a softer plate compared to the usual aluminum. This enhances the typing feel, but also makes the keyboard sound thockier because it absorbs the sounds. The RT65 has tri-mode connectivity. You can connect up to 3 devices with Bluetooth 5.0, as well as a 2.4G connection that has 1000 Hz polling rate. There is a toggle switch on the top right for on-off to connect wirelessly, and you need to hold FN-QWE for Bluetooth and FN-R for 2.4G. I really wish they had a toggle switch to do that, but honestly, this isn't too bad compared to other keyboards. Now for an important yet often overlooked feature of any keyboard, the software. The RT65 has its own proprietary software that you can download on the Epomaker website. It installs quickly and opens up to reveal a rendered RT65 as well as a bunch of options on the bar up top. You can remap the keys, you can change the lighting, program the macros, and set up the screen. For a keyboard with so many features, you would expect more customization. It's also hard to see what's happening because the software doesn't actually show you the updates you're making on the keyboard as you do them. It's not the best. Overall, it feels clunky and archaic. I feel like they could have made the software a lot better and a lot more streamlined to use. I would have preferred VIA, in this case, a browser-based software. With VIA, you can see your changes live on screen as you mess with the keyboard. While the RT65 is a very ambitious keyboard, keyboard with so many potentially cool features, it falls short of what it could have been. It could have had a more useful joystick functionality, a light bar that's more than just RGB, and a screen that's convenient to use. If I were to buy a keyboard similar to this, it would be the Aula F75, which costs around $79. It's a great sounding and feeling keyboard. It has most of the same features without the gimmicks. It's a timeless, clean design. It's got tri-mode connectivity and a media control knob, not a joystick. It comes in 3 different switch options: the Leobog Reapers, Leobog Greywood, and the Epomaker Flamingos. Unlike the RT65, the F75 is actually compact, even though it has more keys. It doesn't have an exploded layout, it doesn't have a large forehead, and the dongle storage is subtle. You can also get an F65, which is the 65% version of the F75 for $51 right now, but I haven't personally used that one. Everything we talked about today will be linked in the description for your convenience, and thank you to Epomaker for sponsoring this video. Here's what the Aula F75 sounds like in a similar switch option, as well as the RT65 side by side with Flamingo and Wisteria switches. Enjoy.